It's the 14th Stoicism stream. Kind of wild that we reached number 14. To be honest with you, super crazy. Like the other Stoicism stream specials, on top of talking about self-help life advice strats, just general enough to apply to what might be bothering you today, or tomorrow, or yesterday, a little or a lot. This stream is going to double function like you, chatter, are just hanging out and drinking coffee with me, and we're talking about how our brains work. I'm going to use an anonymous sign-up list message site called Marshmallow that you can plug questions, feedback, comments into anytime you have any questions about anything, in case you want to ask something, but it might be sensitive to you or you don't want it associated with your Twitch username. It works like the advice box did in Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I'm sure that every single one of us on the entire planet has played, but I'm just tossing it out there. If you do register with Marshmallow, let me reply directly to you. Links are pinned at the top of Twitch chat. It can be summed up with the exclamation point AMA on Twitch. This link will not go away after stream, so if anything comes in mind in the future, I'm going to occasionally stop to check the site during stream and answer questions. Can I fart fire? For sure. Yeah, go ahead, man. For base covering purposes, I'm not accredited, I'm not certified, or licensed anywhere to perform psychological or philosophical counseling. I can say that I know that I've helped people according to them, and anything I ever say in a Stoicism stream, I've practiced or applied myself to real-world situations. There's no minimum or maximum amount of time these things typically run. We're on kind of like a short lead this stream because I need to make sure that anime horse scrolling happens because I haven't done my dailies yet, and that's like so important, bro. Because if I displease Callisto even a little bit, it's basically like making. It's basically the worst. Okay, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm gonna make sure that Callisto's needs are taken care of. That's my modus operandi most days. Thank you for the shout out. Hi, just got home, so I don't have my headset on just in case I'm sweaty, but I wanted to say hi. Hello, Omen Zero. I know that you can't. I know that you just said that you can't hear me, but hello, hi. How are you doing? Hello. Give me all the shout outs. I'm gonna carry this fucking dude on DS3. Is that what you think? That's crazy. Anime horse girling. We're just gonna keep talking until it seems like a good time to stop, or until like an hour passes. A lot of what's about to come out of my mouth, it might feel heavy or intense. If you have any questions about anything that we go over after the stream ends and you don't mind asking me directly, you can also reach out to me on Discord and I'll get back to you ASAP. But before we actually get started, why am I doing this? It's because I owe a debt. I owe this movement, I owe this philosophy, these people from thousands of years ago for who I am, and the belief that I can actually become the type of person that I wanted to be since I was a kid through my own efforts. I owe it to the people going through what I did the majority of my life, hopefully to help give them the tools they need to reclaim themselves before they feel completely, utterly, constantly lost or alone like I did. It is a goal of mine to stream part-time, and if we get there full-time, so I have as many opportunities as possible to impact people that might be suffering like that. If I continue to help even one person with every stream, it's considered accomplishing my core goals, no matter how much or how little money flows through the channel or whether I float 1 million followers or 1,000. Heavy as a neutron star or like a bowling ball. Why not both? To get right into it, to learn how to use Stoicism, including the benefits that you get from it, which is this lasting sense of peace or contentment regardless of what's going on around you, it's important to understand the unique way that the human mind works in comparison to other animals when it comes to acting on sensory info, and to train your brain like a horse. Like other animals, we take in a mix of information from our 5 senses in a series of snapshots that are being taken constantly the entire time that we're conscious. This blend of information is what the Stoics refer to as an impression. The impression is combined almost instantly with an involuntary value judgment about what seems to be happening. That the impression, the snapshot of what seems to be happening, is either a good or a bad thing. Oh shit, that heavy then? Make sure to stretch first. I honestly should. I should stretch first. I did stretch when Felicity Ryan redeemed stretch 21 minutes ago. So like, I'm due for it in like 9 minutes. The impression, the snapshot of what seems to be happening, either a good or bad thing, something helpful or harmful. It does not mean that whatever the situation seems to be is actually representative of what's actually happening. All animals are going to decide what to do based on this impression and this gut read. If it's seemingly bad, it's fight or flight. If it's seemingly good, to try to get as much as you can or protect it from competitors. Humans are unique in that they experience something extra that they have no choice but to deal with. For a human, the snapshot of info on what seems to be happening, the impression, and the involuntary value judgment that what seems to be happening is good or bad is combined into something called a proposition. I know that this shit is a lot, I know that this is a lot to process. Just bear with me. Just bear with me. It's really important to understand how they categorize it so that you can start like looking for these like psychological markers that are happening in your own brain as it's happening. I'll restate it later. Something that the human mind can understand, the proposition, and additionally, unique to humans make choices about. In other words, we can agree or disagree that the impression is accurate of what seems to be happening to us. And the involuntary value judgment is actually the correct way to feel about the situation. When we do this, when we agree that yes, this thing that seems to be happening is happening, and yes, it seems to be bad, is called assenting. If you assent or agree that everything involved in the proposition is true, then you feel a stronger version of the involuntary value judgment, aka the good or bad initial feelings, and you build on the habit of feeling similarly about seemingly similar situations in the future. If you don't assent, if you don't agree, you're effectively stating to yourself that the situation might not be everything that it seems to be, and that you might not have all the information that you should have about it. And even if you do have all the info that you need, whether the thing is as good or bad as it first appears, this need to make a choice happens constantly, seemingly subconsciously, and every person around you, including in you, right now, all the time, everywhere. It can't be turned off, but it can be trained. And you'll need to train it if you ever want to have meaningful, lasting control of your mind, at least the way that the Stoics suggest that you could. And my personal experience reflect this as somebody that used to be under attack from every negative emotion, nearly every waking minute of the day. Developing this ability to make impressions stop and wait for you until you can figure out what they are changes you. It's a crossroads between continuing to let yourself get thrown around by every new thing that pops up, seemingly negative or positive, day in and day out, from the time that you wake up to the time that you go to sleep, and becoming the active, directive force inside your own mind. Let me check to see if any marshmallows flew in. No marshmallows. That's totally fine. We'll keep it moving then. I actually am going to take a free hydrate. If you don't mind, I think I'm drinking the last Sour Patch Kids blue raspberry drink that exists, and that makes me sad. For some reason, I don't know if they've lost the rights to the Sour Patch blue raspberry flavor, but it sucks. It sucks that it's going to be gone, man. I'm going to do a little courtesy stretch. Okay. It's always amusing to me how psychology originally was part of the philosophy as its roots, but over time, with changes in sciences, it became its own discipline. So a lot of it is related to each other, but worded differently. And the comparison is always enjoyable to find. I have drawn lots of meaning from Taoism. I've drawn lots of meaning from Buddhism. I've drawn lots of meaning from Confucianism. I've got a lot of mileage out of the Bushido code, but I don't own a samurai sword, so I can't like really squeeze every drop out of that of juice out of that fruit as much as I would like to. Shimi will probably not let me have a combat-ready samurai sword, so I'm just gonna have to, you know, do what I can with what I got. We still got Welch's grape. It's true. Goddamn you old man moaning fuck. So true. Let's scoot forward in time a little bit. Let's assume that you've got this part largely in the bag, that you're used to anticipating how you're taking info in, you're categorizing it as good or bad, and either telling the impression that it's real and accurate and it's completely appropriate for you to feel the way that you do about what you're experiencing, or that you probably don't have all the pieces or info, or that the situation might not be what it seems because of your limited viewpoint, or that it could really just be like that, but how you're interpreting the situation is in line with the type of person you're trying to be and why, and it's an opportunity to course correct your thought process. Why? Why do it at all? To be happy. Like everyone else alive, now, no matter how much or how little that you own, however much power or status or money that you might have, everyone wants to be happy. The state of being happy for most people can probably be summed up as a mix of general elation, contentment, easiness, peacefulness, relaxation, where things don't really seem to get to you, and you're, quote, living life to the fullest. Hello, Devi25, welcome in. The idea of Stoic owning sharp objects is spooky. Oh, I can have fire, but I can't have a combat-ready samurai sword. That sucks. You suck. I'm sorry, Queen. That's rude. Let me see that about you. I'm just projecting. Most people intuit that this means that you materially don't need anything, or having lots of varied and exciting life experiences, that you need a quotation finger marks good job, and so on. And deeper down, they know that there are other things that are involved, but I think it's fair to say that most people come to this viewpoint with these external things being a basis or a foundation for something. They don't necessarily know what the thing is. They just know that they're like, okay, well, culture around me and media and people around me are all kind of like trending towards these things as being like some sort of relationship with what it means to be happy, and so I should probably work on getting those things first, and then I guess I'll just, you know, put the triangle block in the triangle hole afterward. Stoic, duel me and you can use the sword. Okay, but I don't know if Shumi's gonna be happy that just because I said Jade told me that I could have a sword, that I could actually have one. I'm feeling weekend friends, Stoicism Stream. Have a good one, Virtue bro. Thank you for lurking. But Jade, we'd have to babysit even harder if he had a sword. It's true. It's true. You would, because I would absolutely go around my house swinging into the air, going, yeah, wow, yeah. Oh man, and then probably slice my own finger off as I'm doing like the samurai like resheathing thing where I'm pretending to like flick blood off of my blade. Deeper down, people know that there are other things involved to being happy, but I think it's fair to say that most come to this viewpoint with these external things being a basis or a foundation. The Stoics rejected this idea outright, saying that these things, these outside things, these circumstances have no quality other than to exist, and that we humans are the ones that associate any kind of value with them or prescribe them as a prerequisite to be happy. For Stoics, the line is drawn between appreciating these external things for the time that they come into our lives and making use of them as means for self-improvement, or to help others, and binding our own idea of our own self-worth to either having them or getting them, or avoiding whatever we think will cause us to not get them or lose them. Thank you for the shouty, the chaos he'd cause. So I can have a martial artist who had training fucking try me? No. In fact, I'm gonna boop you on the nose, and that should be sufficient to cripple you. to absolutely own you is just booping your nose. I'm pretty sure that I would do something to like trigger your fight or flight response so that it'd be all over. A Stoic considers goodness. Actually, I'm gonna check the marshmallow side first. Okay, no messages. That's totally fine. A Stoic considers goodness or virtuousness to be happiness. Happiness is the only thing in all of our lives that is chased after for the sake of itself. There's no goal higher than it for anyone alive. Everyone wants to be happy. Everyone does things with the intent to get into this state of being where they feel just good. They just feel good and they feel fine. Arguments are all over the place across all different ethics and philosophies on how to get there, or how to be happy, or what it means to be happy. For Stoics, it was getting to a point where you have a virtuous soul. For them, it was attaining this, what they translated as an excellence of the soul, called eudaimonia. To become virtuous, we need to deliberately choose actions that seem to be the most in line with our conception of what would a good person do, and are designed by humans by the powers that be, whatever they are, whether they're sentient, whether everything is just completely fucking random, whether it's all causes and effect, whether there is the typical thought of what a god could be in like Judeo-Christian idea of like an all-powerful entity. Regardless of what the actual nature of nature, capital N nature is that we have this apparent design. We have this ability to reason that is built in us. And in the same way that horses go real fast, that fish swim real good, or that birds fly real nice, to put it as uneloquently as possible, humans have this reasoning ability. It's what defines us. It's what separates us, is us having these higher order of needs that are provided by us having this capacity, this capability. Can you train me in not accidentally hurting myself by simply existing in my own body? I cannot do that. I can't. I so wish I could. I mean, you're fucking shirtless. That's what in some respects, yeah. I'm not a Sifu. I can only assist with helping somebody, but I'm not qualified to teach formally. It makes me wonder, though, with the old original text of Stoicism, what we have in translations, how much is the old text conveyed into modern language, day language properly? The difficulty with the English language is that it's dumb. I think that's fair to say. It's hella dumb. It's really mundane. Words can have multiple meanings, but each word is very, in most cases, every word does not have any nuance, or very, very little nuance. Whereas like in Japanese or in ancient Greek, one word can have like 4 or 5 different meanings simultaneously. So it's very, very difficult to say how much would cross over properly or in the same way means and intent that they did originally. Hello, Golden Crest 200. Golden Crest 200 is a super cool, down-to-earth dude. Plays a wide variety of games, including but not limited to fighting games. He's definitely infinitely better at me than fighting games. I think that's actually applicable to most people in this room, but still. Dapper, fly real nice. English is overly complicated. It's why I have trouble with the English language a lot. English is simple, but very simple. That expressing complexities from another language is difficult. Yeah, exactly. To become virtuous, we need to deliberately choose actions that seem to be the most in line with our conception of what would a good person do, and our design as humans by the powers that be, whatever they are, as social and rational animals. When we give advices, either out of ignorance of there being a better way, or lack of will, or due to habit, or all the above, we reinforce the thoughts and habits that lead to the choice. Examples of being virtuous is being patient, courageous, and kind. Examples of being vicious is being greedy, exploitative, cowardly. The emotions that we feel after being unknowingly virtuous are called rational emotions, which I know is like a mind-exploding combination. I know that seems like a paradox. I know it seems like an oxymoron. That's what they called it. That's what I'm running with. And it makes, once you're in the sauce, which I very much am and have been for like 13 years now, rational emotions makes intuitive sense to me. But when you're hearing it, it's a paradox. It's not, though. Most people think that rationality and emotion and emotionality are like 2 completely different hemispheres inside of you. Most people think that. Most people feel that, and that they're not. And it intuitively, they're like, okay, well, I know what I should do, but the heart wants what it wants. Statements like that kind of like reveal that most people, they think it's conceptually different. When in fact, for Stoics, what you believe and how you believe it necessarily affects your emotions. The snow defines my soul right now, Stoic a lonely fireplace. Let me stay here for a while with other lost souls. Absolutely, me 9292. You can stay as long as you want, to be honest with you. Papa. I didn't know that people think that, since it never is to me. For some people, it's more intuitive than others. But I would say that the lion's share of people would suggest that they feel as if the heart and the mind, rationality, emotions are separate, distinct. Lots of people believe, understandably, of no fault of their own, that they're fighting each other, or that they're in opposition to each other most of the time. So the emotions that we feel after being knowingly virtuous are called rational emotions and are inward-facing. They're self-starting and self-sustaining. The emotions that we feel after being vicious are translated as passions instead of rational emotions, and are outward-facing, unstable, and confused. There's also in modern day the concept of the rational mind, the emotional mind, the mix of both, which is the wise mind. Still, emotions is just another way of thinking. It is, yes. Emotions is just another way of thinking. Exactly. I don't know if the way that I'm interpreting the sentence is the same way that you're interpreting the sentence, but to me that is the case. The way that you think about things necessarily influences your emotions. They're outward-facing, passions, unstable, and confused. Most people, I would say, at least in America, I can't speak for other for other countries, but in America, people think that if you're passionate about something, that you are like, you're driven to do a thing. Like I'm passionate, like people would say that I'm passionate about streaming, I'm passionate about stoicism. The passions is a word that they use to stand in for these things that I'm going to break down in a moment. We're all familiar with passions, which can be broken down into, we're familiar with what they meant as passions once you break it down, which is desire, aka wanting something, pleasure, having the thing that we want, aversion, wanting to avoid something, and fear, which is presence of what we're trying to avoid. Rational emotions were categorized into joy, wishing, and caution. With joy being a strong sense of fulfillment at knowingly trying to do the right thing or to help other people for its own sake. Wishing being a general desire for the betterment or quality of life improvement for our environment and others. And caution being a feeling of vigilance or care over our own minds, not to let anything outside of ourselves have more than the minimum amount of influence that it should. I fucking, Callisto, I just want to say, I don't think I've ever said it out loud. I fucking love it. I love watching you, like, steer all the little flames into a spot, dude. I don't know, I just fucking love that you do that so much. Just had to graph the Venn diagram chart in case it helps in DM Stoic. Thank you, Jade. I appreciate you. I'm gonna check to make sure that no marshmallows came in. Okay, nothing did, and that's fine. Where was I? Okay. Joy is the, quote, rational version of pleasure. Wishing is the, quote, rational version of desire. Caution is the, quote, rational version of aversion. Because rational emotions are completely insulated and internal, there's no Stoic counterpart to fear. It doesn't make sense in context. The presence of a thing that we were trying to avoid. Fear. Because no fear can exist without us personally inviting it in. In a word, all outside things come and go as a necessary result of living in a physical world, but anything that we can accomplish in ourselves stay with us forever. It makes me wonder about something in regards to perception of virtues and vices from a Stoic. I'm happy to try to break it down. It's listed as Stoicism time, they'll stretch it a little bit. They'll move when I say they move. And not a moment sooner. You hear me? You hear me, little flames? You hear me? They are so still. I should probably ask if I can get them to have like an at-rest animation. Like it's fine if they're just like sitting there. But it's just like, I feel like they should move. I feel like they should have like little like flickering, maybe. Flickering happening. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Am I crazy, chat? No, I'm fine. Everything about what I'm doing is fine. Make sure that you guys are drinking and eating and all that other stuff. One of them is moving. Get him. Makes sense. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Serena. I practice this, bro, and I'm going to fuck it up right away. Siriana. Welcome in, Siriana. How are you doing? Siriana is a shark pup, question mark, VTuber. Hot voice, hot model, hot gameplay, better ingredients, Papa John's. Check them out. Siriana. Oh, you're so good. You're so good! Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome in. The TLDR version is that Stoics are, I should hydrate, because that's what you just asked me to do. Welcome in, Azer Dark, Crossroads Demon. How you doing, buddy? The TLDR version is that the Stoics argue that it's possible and should be prioritized above all else to understand how our mind works and how it categorizes what we experience and to rein it in and steer it. Once we start getting used to approaching our own brain that way, we then need to retrain what we value and how we value it from external things to internal goals. Did Stoic read my question? I don't know if I zoned out. Oh, no, sorry. I fixated on the command. That's my bad, because it made a sound effect. Stoicism defines what virtues and vices consist of. What does that mean for cases when people see what those virtues are and seen in Stoicism are seen as vices, and the vices in Stoicism are seen as virtues by some others in life? Anytime, so your question is like super multifaceted. I'm going to try to pick at it from a couple of different angles. In the abstract, a Stoic considers that any time that anyone knowingly does something wrong is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that moment. The word wrong, anytime that somebody intentionally hurts someone else, okay, with the intent to like steal from them, or it all depends on the intent, to be honest with you. It depends on the intent of what they're doing and why, but just to super vaguely put it out there, anytime that somebody does something wrong, it's because of ignorance. It's because they don't understand that there is a better way to handle the things that they're doing. Anytime that somebody exploits or manipulates or abuses or commits violence for some sort of like personal gain, some sort of selfish intent, then it's because they have no idea that there's a better way to exist, to think, to act, to intend, and so they have no choice. Everybody in this room, every single motherfucker in here, including the abstract dude that I'm talking about, has no choice but to do what seems best to them in the moment. So if they have a skewed idea of what it means to be, of what good is, then they are going to necessarily act in line with that. The Stoics used an example of people in olden times who would seemingly be inseparable and fucking stoked to be around each other and so on. But if you happen to put like land in between them, if you happen to put like an extremely large amount of money in between them, and you just point at it and say only one of you can have this, then if one of them is like, okay, well, it's better for me to preserve my role as like a brother or son or whatever, and to not allow this physical external thing to corrupt my brain and turn me against another human being who may, for all intents and purposes, try to help me and so on and so forth. But if the other person is like, no, fuck that dude, like I'm set for life. If I just take this, if I kill him, yeah, dude, I'll kill him. I'll kill him in Minecraft all day long. Okay? Then it means that the person that's like, fuck yeah, I'm willing to destroy this other person for the sake of short-term gains, then it means that that person is ignorant of what it means to be human. They're causing damage to the state of their souls because they misinterpret what it means to be good, or what it means to be human, what it means to have these higher order needs that they're not fulfilling or that they're acting in opposition to. I want to make braids with your hair. That's actually, I did consider that there could be a mega braid in our future. I think that chat would really like that. Chat, would you like a mega braid? On me. I think we all want to braid his hair, but sometimes we do something that is okay, but think this is not okay. All this needs a lot of context. It makes me wonder what I've known people who believe that exploiting others is a good thing, for example, and not doing so is wrong, is just why I'm wondering then, how does a Stoic handle it? There was a Stoic called Epictetus, who, welcome in, Magic Cybercat, Rapunzel time, hell yeah. There's a Stoic called Epictetus who used an example of a thief that breaks into his house and steals, like, something it's considered valuable to, like, an ancient Roman person, which would be, like, a lamp. Like a metal lamp. The person that is doing the stealing does it because it seems to them to be an appropriate thing to do. That they find having the lamp more valuable than possibly taking something away from somebody that could benefit from it more. And so they're just going to act in line with that. They're just going to steal the lamp, and they're going to say, okay, well, it's my lamp now, or I need the lamp. I don't have lamp, therefore I see lamp, therefore I grab lamp. And then they can fill in the blanks by saying that the person I'm stealing the lamp from is probably like a jackass or something, and I deserve this more. Okay? If people prioritize physical outside objects more than their relationship to other people, they're going to act accordingly. In my own life, when I was a resident assistant, I was in college, I bought a laptop. Like a not cheap laptop, a good laptop, because up until that point, it was not normal to write down homework on paper anymore. So a laptop was basically required. So I was doing this super awkward thing. As a resident assistant, I had to do I had to sit at the front desk and help people if they needed it, let students into their rooms, so on and so forth, right? And so in order for me to do my homework, I had to physically write down like a caveman on a piece of paper all my shit. I had to write down all my homework, I had to write down all my essays, and then I took those essays, and then after my duty was over, haha, he said duty, I would go up to my room and I type in my essay or my homework into like Word. And so I was essentially having to write it twice. Now, if I had a laptop, then that would be a non-issue because I could just type it. I could just type it and then just be done. Welcome in, Crucian. Good to see you. Welcome in, Noxia. Good to see you. A person very graciously helped me get a laptop with the agreement that I would like walk their dog for like 6 months, which I did. And they helped me get the laptop. They partially paid for it. I got the laptop. I was like, I just want something functional. And they were like, well, you can splurge a little bit. It's fine if you want to play games on it because I know that you like to play games. And I was like, I'll splurge a little bit because I have been working really hard and it would be cute to play games on it when nothing is happening at the front desk and so on. So I got this laptop, $1,000 laptop, which in today's money is probably like $1,300, something like that. Like it wasn't an Alienware, but it wasn't cheap either. And I had that laptop for 1 day. One day. One singular day. Technically 1.5 days, but essentially, effectively 1 day. I went to the cafeteria. There are cubbies in the cafeteria. You put your stuff in the cubbies with the social agreement being that if you put something in the cubby, it's yours, doesn't belong to anyone else. You don't touch it. It's inward facing, right? So there's the implied sense of security. It's right next to registers and so on. So there's people there. It's inward facing. The possibility of somebody taking it from the spot that it was taken from was almost nothing. I went in, I got food, 5 minutes, in and out, adventure, came back, and my backpack was gone. All my textbooks were gone, the laptop was gone, and so I immediately went to the campus police because I was thorough, right? I was thorough. I had the original box, I had the serial numbers, I had the time that it was taken, I had the place that it was taken from, so on and so forth, told the campus police everything, and from that point, I never saw it again. Never saw it again. The campus police had no updates. That shit was just gone. It was consigned to oblivion. There was no getting it back. And so that was my opportunity to see if any of the shit that I believed was actually effective. Because I essentially just lost $1,000 and the opportunity to have a much easier time with my homework and so on immediately. I am so glad that I did not fail, because my first thought process was that this person that took this laptop from me does not understand that the harm that they are causing. They are prioritizing their own personal gain over how they're affecting another human being. They're probably reasoning incorrectly that I'm like an asshole, or that it's like in a vacuum in the grand scheme of things, in the heat death of the universe, that it doesn't matter that this laptop is now gone from someone else, so on and so forth. If they felt differently, if they thought differently, I would still have my backpack. They don't, so they don't, and now I just don't have a laptop. Does this mean that I'm forever forbidden from having a laptop ever again? No. Does this mean that I cannot, that I just return to a state of being that wasn't preferable, but I was alive, where I would transcribe my homework twice? Yes, that's just, it's a return to a state of being before. Nothing about the situation is telling me that it's evil. I am the one that's saying to myself that this is a bad, unrecoverable situation. And it's like that thought process wasn't clean. It didn't feel good. But it did mean that I was able to recover from it basically instantly, as far as my thought process went. I can understand the situation, need for one's life, and just wonder for those who already feel that they need or want more, greed being one thing that confuses me when a person is able to sustain themselves yet end up wanting more of what others have, with a belief of how they think they deserve it. It's in the situation of trying to, of people who live excessively lavish while taking more from others, trying to understand the mentality and why, pretty much. It's because they are paying attention to their lower order needs. For lack of a better way of saying it, they are prioritizing what feels convenient or good in the moment with actual goodness for themselves. That's why you can have motherfuckers like, and I'm so sorry, Daddy Bezos, just please let me use you as an example for a moment. That's why people still do not feel content with going to space. For fun, for funsies. It's why they don't feel content going to space. That's not enough. They feel like they have to rent out the entire city of Venice for a wedding. It's why Elon Musk, praise be his name, it's why Elon Musk can be literally the most rich person on the entire planet and have nearly infinite, well, at one point, nearly infinite political capital, infinite resources, infinite money that that he could just seemingly will into existence that any state of being physically that he wants. And yet, it's not enough. It's not enough. He has to be known as a gamer. He has to be known to be the best in Diablo 4. It's never going to be enough because these higher order needs are not being fulfilled. That's why. Is that they don't know what's missing. And so they are trying to gap fill by increasingly extravagant means. And so, in fact, the appropriate thing to feel, according to the Stoics, the appropriate thing to feel for Bezos and Elon Musk and people in those positions is pity. You should feel sad for them. Because no matter how much they have, they could own entire planets, and it's not going to be enough. It's interesting to me that you're able to process it in line of thoughts in a similar way of function and understanding of situations in life, like how the fifth uncle and I do with our cultural heritage. West order needs, lower order needs. That's my term for saying like nice, like things that every animal needs in order to feel satisfied, like shelter, banging, the shelter, banging, eating food that's tasty, things like that. Stuff that like a cow, like things that a cow would enjoy are like lower end order needs. Also, welcome to Carbon Jam. Carbon Jam is a very talented 3D modeler. The hierarchy of needs triangle thingy. That's right. That's right. Very good, Magic. Very, very good. Yes. There's a way of living and understanding of my old cultural heritage that's better to live modest than to live with too much. Not the fifth uncle. Fifth uncle became, in my culture, we have a hierarchy of order by number of family. I do not know how to explain in English. Okay, let me check to see if there's any marshmallows, and then we'll kind of cap it off, because we're getting up to break time, and I promised Callisto. Well, I didn't directly promise, but like it was implied to be promised. I keep my implied promises, that we're gonna play a little bit of Horse Girl game, and then we're gonna take a break, and then we're going to play probably 3 or 4 hours of the first part of Dark Souls 3 Seamless Co-op with It's Rennie B. Thank you for giving me horse ears. I appreciate you. Okay. Welcome in, Meg Popeyes. It's good to see you. Thank you for the hydrate. Thank you for Kitty. Thank you for turning me to everything. How is your stream, Meg Popeyes? Meg Popeyes is a super sweet, down-to-earth person that plays a wide variety of video games. What were you streaming? Were you just talking to people? I need a stretch, thank you. Oh! 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 Oh, man. Oh, my tracking. Tracking Chan. Tracking Chan! Okay, I need to actually, like, hydrate. Oh, man. I'm so sad. I was telling people earlier, Magic, I don't think you were here yet, which is totally fine. But also, how dare you? I feel like I'm drinking the last blueberry ghost energy drink, Sour Patch Kids. And it's like making me weirdly sad. Like I'm hyper and I'm sad. iPhone chan, please. Oh no. Want to drag you around someday later to ask about more philosophy stuff because not enough time here and language is difficult for me. Wish you had more time for chatting around in Discord. I too wish I had more time to, but like the task list is not going to untask itself. But inevitably at some point I will get it under control. I don't know when, I don't know how, but I will get it under control. Hyper sad. Happy sad sure is one of those feelings. It sure is. Where's my shit? Okay. Once we start getting used to approaching our brain the way that I've explained, we then need to retrain what we value and how we value it from external things to internal goals. Making being a good person an internal goal and deliberately trying to act in line with it is something that we can and should be proud of. It stirs up feelings in ourselves that are impossible to influence from anything outside. Only with our permission can things chip away at it. These feelings, the rational emotions, build up over time to a general sense of being resilient, at peace, happy, even if things are rough or seem like they'll be. So checking at the time, I'm going to check one more time the Marshmallow site. Again, if you want to reach out to me completely anonymously for any reason, either to ask for advice or to suggest something to me, or to call me names, you can do that if you want to. I can't guarantee you that I'm gonna reply to you if you just call me like a butt face or something. You can call me a butt face. That's fine. If it helps you get through the day, then you can call me a butt face. That's why when the opportunity comes, I can appreciate it, so I can wait. When the time comes, it'll be worth it, since everything is prepared, and sit down and talk about philosophy. The main issues I have about talking about philosophy is that with Stoic is he claims Stoicism is the only philosophy that matters, and has even said you're stupid for being an absurdist, Hex. You should feel bad. Hex, by the way, completely as an aside, and with all due respect, low-key, no respect at all, you're stupid for being an absurdist, and you should feel bad. Dude, that felt bad. That felt bad even like saying it out loud. I don't mean that. I don't mean that. Do I mean that? I don't mean that. I appreciate you. I do. I thought we were friends. I almost did a shout out. No, you should shout out Hex. Hex does this cute little bit. He does this whole song and dance. He does this, he has this like Greek tragedy thing going on where he's like, oh, I don't stream, pushes up glasses and whips out cigarette and puts on maid dress. I don't stream, but you know, I'm also gonna be streaming in like 20 minutes with Exotyrannus. What was the game that I saw appear in my shit? Hang on. It was like Bone or something. Oh yeah, in my new Steam results. The brave of Boner and the demon of Halphus. To clear this dishonorable life, the hero Theo sets out to liberate a city under demonic control. However, the companions joining him on his journey turn out to be one beautiful demon after another. I obviously can't show you what I'm looking at, but you should probably not play this game on stream. What you do, because you're a streamer. I thought we were friends. They do it anyway because of my job. He's holding me by the ears. You have to get him to stop grabbing me and dragging me away. I'm gonna call you on the phone, be like, "Sup, cartoon anime, not my boyfriend, man." You should. I think it'd be super cute. Absurdism and Stoicism have a lot of overlap. Oh yeah. Why don't you explain? I gesture widely. Why don't you explain for the class what this overlap? Theater of the absurd is fun to explore. What are you, Visa? I don't get why Visa is doing that. Why Visa is doing the things that it's doing. I legitimately don't get it, because like the time to be like weird about adult themes is not now. There's already enough going on. I don't get why that is. I guess that somebody got put in some high-ranking board position or something that still thinks in terms of like the 1980s. I don't know, where they're like, oh, you know, violence. Video games directly correlate to violence. I mean, if you play nothing but the Outlast Trials, I do think that would probably mute your sensibilities or your sensitivities to violence, for sure. The Stoicism has a lot to do about the coping in tough situations. Absurdism is the acceptance of a lack of answers. I can see that. I fuck with you, but because we're buddies. Because purity culture and the people who tend to have high stakes and things are rich, and rich people tend to be stinky and old. Yeah, that tracks. I sort of know what's been going on. I can explain it to you about the timeline of things. I get what's like, I get the bits and pieces of like the thought process. It's just bad. It's just not a good thought process, and there's already enough going on. Satanic Panic never ended for some folks. Yeah, it's more than just that. It has to do with some legal things over the years. That sounds right. Okay, if you enjoyed this Stoicism thing even a little bit, consider following if you like this a lot of it and have the means to do so. Consider subscribing. I know that this one was short. I know that we normally push like a couple of hours, but I promised people that I value very highly, which is all of you, good save self, that I was going to play the anime horror scroll game a little bit. We're going to transition over to a little bit of anime horror scrolling now. I can't promise you that we're going to be able to do a full career unless I literally just hit like view results on everything, but we will do a little bit. I can promise you that. Stoicism led to absurdism. Hex, just shut up and kiss me. It's more than just that. It has to do with some legal things. I already read that. Are the Stoicism streams on a playlist on your YouTube? They are. All the Stoicism streams are in its own Stoicism stuff playlist on YouTube. YouTube. There you are. I should probably change that. 1,000 subs goal. Let me change that right now because I forget every time I say that I'm not going to forget. There's apparently some sort of PvP thing that's happening, some sort of PvP tournament that's happening at the end of August for Anime Horror Scroll games. So like it's a chance for all the sweaty players to use their sweaty horses to win a bunch of carrots. I don't think I'm gonna do poorly. I don't think I'm gonna do bad either because I haven't exactly been wailing. Like have I spent all of my birthday money on Uma Masame? Yes. Do I regret it? No, because and this is not a point of pride for me, I have spent something like 160 hours on Uma Masame without even realizing it, bro. So the return on investment, with investment doing a lot of heavy lifting there, has been about even. 1,000 subs goal. Yes, if you would prefer to help me in some way that's very cheap and easy to do so, you can subscribe to me on YouTube at 1,000 subs. I will qualify for running ads, which will allow me to earn the tiniest little itty bittiest amounts of money on YouTube, which is also, you know, got to be another revenue vector for me to do this officially part-time at some point in the future. I already fixed it. I fixed it. I'm good. Thank you. All right, put the fire down. I will be right back. I'm gonna flip on all the Anime Horror Scroll stuff. Thank you guys for hanging with me. And this Stoicism thing will be on YouTube probably tonight at some point.